Hi there, welcome to my channel. If you are a brand new viewer, I'm really glad you found me. And if you are a returning viewer, thanks for coming back. Today's video is the May 2022 flip of my planner. This is a Vanderspec TM Tabac they call it standard size. A lot of us refer to this as personal rings. And let's just get right into what's the same, what's different, and yeah, we'll go from there. So opening the planner, this really hasn't changed very much. The pictures of my family and me are right in the front. My sister is in this picture, but she doesn't want her face on the internet, so that's why that's covered up. So one of the changes, it's not really that big, that I made this past month was I changed my tabs. They all used to be these small tabs, but on the side, and I didn't really like that. So I also reorganized it. So I really only have two main sections of my planner, which is notes and plans, and then this priorities tab. I'll show you what that is in a second. So in my notes section, I still have a lot of the same things. One thing that's new is this Type A for Alexa Disney, I'll take this out so you can see it better, Disney divider with a pocket. I have a couple of those in here. I'm a huge Disney World fan. If you've followed me at all, you know that. And I just really thought these were cute, and I still had some money left from a gift that I had received. So yes, I was trying not to spend money on planner purchases, but I kind of feel like found money is okay to spend. So I'll show you the other two when we get further in. So I have that. And then this priorities tab this is an old Happy Planner deco piece that I just cut off and repunched to fit in here. And I have this priorities because sometimes I need this little note to self to remind me to stick with my goals. Today is a prime example. Today I'm recording this on Tuesday, May 31st, 2022, and today Giglio released undyed medium campagnas, and I had this huge desire to purchase one, but it doesn't really fit in with the budget, and it doesn't fit in with some of my goals that I have around like not buying planner stuff this year. So when I have a morning like that where I'm struggling to stick with what actually matters to me, one of my favorite quotes is, "Don't give up what you want most for what you want at the moment." And I really felt like I was on the verge of giving up what I wanted the most for what I wanted in the moment. So having this little tab here just to remind me of some things that matter to me and help me to make decisions that actually align with the priorities that I have set for myself. So that's why I have that there. And then I started this. Some people might call this a brain dump. I just call it the list, and it's just some stuff I've been thinking about, like different things I want to do at some point. They don't all have firm deadlines, but when I think of something that, oh yeah, I should do that, I'm just jotting it down. And then as I take care of things, I'll check them off. So that's what that is. I do still have these subsections in my notes section. And those really haven't changed. Although this house list, that's another list. I'm not going to show the list, but we are in the process of thinking about putting our house on the market in the next couple of years and doing the, theoretical last move in our lives. So there's a ton of work that we need to do to the house. So one day I just sat down and started writing a list for myself to kind of get a grip on what we need to do, so we could maybe start knocking some of the things off the list. So that's what that is. And then here, my low by year notes. So planner supplies, again, I did purchase this planner and those Type A for Alexa dividers. However, that was from gift money, so I feel okay about that. I still haven't purchased any alcohol or consumed any alcohol this year, and I have still not purchased any new handbags. I've stuck to the clothing. I did buy some clothes because I needed them for vacation, And dining out really has only been on special occasions. We have not had any times that we've eaten out just because neither one of us felt like cooking. So that's all going pretty well. And then DisCon, there's nothing new in this section yet, except that I did put one of those Type A for Alexa dividers in here because it's cute. And I just wanted to show you that. So that is that. I'm also still using my own like handwritten task tracker. So here's the one that I've set up for June. So this is just so I can keep track of when I've done different household things. I don't feel a need to do all of these things every single week, so it's good for me though to keep track so that I do know how long it's been since I've done something. So I made the June and July, so that's ready to go. So the biggest changes I made in my planner are in this section. And this tab used to say weekly, and I changed it to just say plans because I feel like that's more accurate for the changes I've made, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But first, let me show you. So all year I have been using the Filofax week on 2-page inserts that come with planners, and they've been fine. However, this page here is a good page, and that's why I marked it to show you. So what I had been doing was, if I had a day that I knew I had a lot to do, like here, I would just put a little note to myself that said see daily section, and then I would, I had a daily section in my planner, and I would use a daily insert on days when I knew I had a lot going on. But some days, the day didn't start out feeling like it was going to be all that busy. But then as the day went on, and I, thought about more things I wanted to do, and things that I wanted to keep track that I had done, stuff like that, what would happen is I'd feel like I was running out of space. And like this Monday is a good example. So I didn't like having to really cram my handwriting into this small space. And I don't like redundancy in my planner, so like I didn't want to get through, for me it doesn't work to go like halfway through my day and say, oh geez, I should have done a daily insert, and then go to the daily insert. I didn't like that. And so I had gotten to this point where I felt like this just wasn't enough room. Some days it was enough room, but it wasn't always enough room, and I'd rather just have something that, I'd rather have a little bit of blank space than have all this smushed in like that. And I don't like having to write so small. That's just not my natural handwriting. So I decided that for the month of May, so I went through this, like this was a good example of it, but I struggled with this through a little bit through March and April. And then I decided that for May, I would do a week on 4-page experiment. My thought process was I would just do this on paper that I already had at home, and figuring that like if this is about how much room I'd have for a daily, I wouldn't need a daily section anymore because I'd be able to fit in everything here. And my thought was, okay, I'm going to try this, and if I like it, I'll just use the paper I have for the rest of the year, and then maybe to start next year, I would buy week on 4-page inserts pre-printed. That was the plan, and that's why this says the week on 4-page experiment. So here's how it worked out. So this is very thin grid paper that I had at home. And one of the things I really like, again, about this was that I had way more room to be able to write stuff in. The other thing I really like about this is I can change every week what the layout looks like, and that mattered to me. I recently, well, not that recently, maybe a couple months ago, I did a flip through of my B6stalogy. And when I was looking at that B6stalogy, I was like, yeah, I really liked the flexibility of just the blank page and every week being able to set it up how I felt like setting it up. So That was another reason I wanted to do this. I like the flexibility of rings and being able to move stuff around, but I really did miss the flexibility of setting up however I felt like setting up that week. So this was the first week of May, and it went okay, except, so like I said, this paper is really thin, which is good for being able to fit like a lot of months in your planner at once. What it's not great for, though, like I like to slit the pages, and you can see this one's not. I like to slit the pages so I don't have to open the rings a lot. And I find that once I slit the pages, they're harder to turn. So I did spend some money, and I bought some new paper. Let me just flip to some blank paper. I bought some new paper to continue the experiment with. This paper is nice. It's a little bit, well, it's a lot thicker than the thin paper I was using. I can slit it and still turn the pages easily. And the other big difference is the, well, this is a dot grid where this is a grid, a line grid, I guess. This is also a 5mm grid, which I like a lot better than this tiny grid. I feel like this accommodates my handwriting better. So I did that, and one of the things I realized, I don't feel a need for a standard like monthly layout, but I did realize that there were things that would be coming up in the month that I wanted to be sure I was paying attention to. So I added, for the second week of May, I added this little future log, and this worked out fine. And then I don't care if they're not in, complete order. That's fine. I just, every week now, the plan is to like look at this sheet and see if there's anything I have to put in to the week that's coming up. But this works for me. And what I'm doing is I'm using this little bookmark that I bought like 7,000 years ago. I slit it, and every month I'll just move it to where the future log is for that month so that I can flip right to it. So the other thing that changed, though, was I realized that, again, like I wanted more flexibility and putting myself into this box of, okay, so cut each page into half, and each half of the page was a day. I don't really need that. Because some days, and here we go, here's the next week in May, some days I have a lot going on, and maybe, it is worth almost a page. But then a day like that, no, not so much. So what I decided to do was just kind of free form it the way I used to do frequently in my Stalogy. So I did a little deco here, and this particular color was because it was my daughter's birthday that week, and orange is her favorite color. So sometimes I do that. So I did this, and so this is sort of like the brain dump for the week, and I just call it sometime this week. And that worked fine. So things that I knew I had to do at some point, but there wasn't necessarily a day that it was attached to. I would just write that here. And then, like I said, I'm not thrilled with the redundancy in my notebooks. So like here, I had to pay the gas bill, and I had written it down, but then I ended up paying it on Monday. So I just put an M here for Monday to indicate what day I did it. So this works nicely for me. And that's what I'm doing now. I am just kind of free-forming, as I go along. So like at the end of the day, right before I go to bed, I draw the lines in for, the date banner for the next day, and that's that. And that's working for me. I did this week try this to see how I felt about it. So I don't have a ton of scheduled things in my life, but I don't like to, I sometimes like to see that what I do have scheduled in a week. So I tried this. So I did some scheduled stuff, and then I've been tracking when I get up, when I go to bed, and then my workout, how many reps I do in my workouts. I like keeping track of things, but I didn't like this particular layout, so I don't think I'll be doing that anymore. What I did then after that was, this past week, it's just scheduled stuff, and then sometime this week. So that's fine. So if I know I have something going on, I can put it up here, and then here again is my sometime this week section. And this brings me, this is last week, so that's really it. And then here I'm starting June. I've got that covered up because there's stuff I don't really want to show yet. So there's my June tracker, and I've got that. Again, just pretty much my planner now is just blank dot grid paper that I bought on Amazon for about, I think it was like $13. And I think I can get, I did the math, I think I can get something like 200, well, I can get 3 per page, so maybe 300 pieces of this paper out of it. So really for me, that's probably a whole year's worth if I stick with this size. And I never really know if I will stick with a size. Personal's working for me well right now. We'll see in the fall, which is when I tend to feel like changing things up. We'll see how I feel in the fall. But that's really it. The other thing I did was I took out the daily section because I don't need that anymore. And the daily pages that I did have, I moved those pages into where they belonged, like with the weekly. So it just, I put it in with the week that I used it. So I didn't lose the pages. I just don't have a bunch of extras in here. And then I do have some other just blank note paper in here. And this section is my notes, my plans that for the trip I took in April. But I like to hold on to those things like packing lists and stuff like that because I can refer to them the next time I go somewhere. So that's it. That's the flip. That's the May 2022 flip of my Vanderspec TM Tabac. I don't know if the June flip will include this cover or not. I have 3 Moterm covers that I bought last year that I have not yet used, and I am thinking about moving into one of them. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like planner content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. I would appreciate it. Thanks. Bye.